Grade 7, week number 13, chapter 14, a trip through geologic time. Lesson number 1, fossils. Textbook page number 522 to 527. Welcome, dear students. I'm your physical science teacher, Mr. Dimish. From this lesson, we are going to learn about fossils. How do the fossils form? And what are the different types of fossils? Let's see what are fossils and how fossils are formed. We know that fossils are the preserved remains or traces of living things. And most fossils form when living things die and are buried by sediment. The sediment slowly hardens into rock and preserves the shapes of the organisms, like the one shown in the figure. An animal dies and sinks into shallow water. Then after that, the organism is covered by the sediment. The sediment deposits covers the animal's body, just like the one shown in this diagram. Then the sediment becomes rock. The sediment becomes rock, preserving parts of the animal. In this way, the fossils form after the death of an animal or an organism. And finally, weathering and erosion eventually expose the fossil at the surface. When an organism dies, its soft parts often decay quickly or are eaten by animals. That is why only hard parts of an organism generally leave fossils. It can be bones, shells, teeth, seeds, and woody stems. It is rare for the soft parts of an organism to become a fossil. There are different kinds of fossils, like molds and casts, petrified fossils, carbon fossils, trace fossils, and preserved remains. A mold is a hollow area in sediment in the shape of an organism or part of an organism. A cast is a solid copy of the shape of the organism. Molds and casts can preserve fine details. Petrified fossils are fossils in which minerals replace all of an organism or a part, such as a dinosaur bone. This can also happen to woods, such as tree trunks. The third type is carbon films. A carbon film is an externally thin coating of carbon on rock. When sediment buries an organism, some gases escape from the sediment, leaving carbon behind. Eventually, only a thin film of carbon remains. Trace fossils provide evidence of the activities of ancient organisms, A fossilized footprint is one example of a trace fossil. And the last type of fossil is preserved remains. Some processes can preserve entire organisms. For example, some organisms become trapped in sticky tar or tree resin. When the resin hardens, it becomes a substance called amber. Freezing can also preserve remains. So these are the types of fossils. Scientists who study about fossils are called paleontologists. They use the fossils to study about the organisms lived in the past. From fossils, scientists have reconstructed the paleomastodon. This animal had a short trunk and short tusks on both the upper and lower jaws. The paleomastodon is an ancestor of the modern elephant. Like this, paleontologists use the fossils to study about the changes in the environment. Also, to learn about the evolution of animals over time. So we discussed about fossils, types of fossils, and changes over time from this lesson. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.